Introduced officially in 2006, the 135-pound bantamweight division quickly became the home for some of the elite smaller athletes in the world. Stronger now than ever, we take a look back at the top 10 bantamweights in MMA history. This is Guts and Glory MMA's top 10 bantamweights in MMA history. Number 10. Eduardo Dantas. By the time he arrived in Bellator in 2011 for the bantamweight tournament, Dantas was already an established name with a Shooto 132-pound title reign and a 10-2 record with 6 finishes. Dantas would win the tournament before finishing champion Zach Makovsky and improving his record to 14-2, having not tasted defeat in 3 years. A loss outside of Bellator to Tyson Nam wouldn't slow Dantas, as he would return to defend his title twice with finishes of Marcos Galvão and Anthony Leon before losing the belt to Joe Warren. He would rebound and reclaim his title with a second win over then-champion Marcos Galvão, and then defend the title twice, gaining revenge over Joe Warren and over Leandro Higo. He would lose the belt to Darrion Caldwell before moving to featherweight. Number 9. Cody Garbrandt. Having arguably the heaviest hands at 135 pounds, has treated no love well, as he would start his career 5-0 with 5 knockouts before getting the call to the UFC. With 5 more wins and 4 knockouts over the likes of Marcus Brimage, Thomas Almeida, and Takeya Mizugaki, Garbrandt was given a title shot against then-champion Dominick Cruz. In what was one of the most complete performances in bantamweight history, Garbrandt outworked and outstruck Cruz en route to his 11th straight win, a bantamweight title, and the claim of being the first man to beat Cruz in the UFC and the first to beat him in 9 years and 9 months. Cody would lose his title to TJ Dillashaw before rematching him and losing again in a fight which Dillashaw would famously test positive for steroids. At the time of this writing, Garbrandt is coming off an epic one-punch massacre of Rafael Assunção. Number 8. Uriah Faber. Starting his career 10-1 with bantamweight titles in Gladiator Challenge and King of the Cage, Faber would sign with the WEC and move up to featherweight, capturing the title there after losing his Gladiator Challenge belt to Tyson Griffin. He would return to bantamweight and defend his King of the Cage belt and reclaim his GC belt before going back to WEC and staying at featherweight for the next 4 years. Upon his return to bantamweight after a legendary run at 145 pounds, Faber would defeat Takeya Mizugaki and Eddie Wineland before getting his first UFC title shot against Dominick Cruz. He would be unsuccessful, but would also get his second shot at the belt after defeating Brian Bowles, this time against Renan Barão, for the interim belt. Another unsuccessful attempt at capturing the belt would see Faber go on a 4-fight win streak, finishing 3 by submission before getting a third unsuccessful crack at the belt, once again against Barão. Faber would win another 2 by submission before getting a 4th and final crack at gold against nemesis and champion Dominick Cruz before losing again. Faber would briefly retire in 2016 before returning in 2019. Number 7. Bibiano Fernandes. Highly regarded as the #1 bantamweight not in the UFC, Fernandes has an extremely well-rounded skill set and some of the best defensive jiu-jitsu in the division, having never been submitted in 28 total fights. Fernandes would start his career 8-3 at featherweight, having fought some of the best the division has to offer, including Uriah Faber, Kid Yamamoto, and Joe Warren, before dropping to 135. It was there he would find instant success, winning the Dream Grand Prix and bantamweight title before heading to ONE. In just his second and third fights with ONE, he would win the interim and then unified the bantamweight title before defending it 7 times with 5 finishes and marking a 14-fight win streak. After a highly contested fight saw him lose a split decision and end his reign as champ, Fernandes would get an immediate rematch and become a 2-time champion, and has since defended the title once more, marking 8 defenses across 2 reigns. Number 6. Marlon Moraes. With a featherweight career that started 5-4-1, the verdict was still out on whether or not Moraes was a high-level fighter. His move to bantamweight would prove to be exactly what he needed, as he would go on to win 13 straight fights, including 11 in World Series of Fighting. There he would capture the 135-pound title and defend it 6 times, and pick up wins over the likes of Miguel Torres, Tyson Nam, Carson Beebe, and Josh Hill. A transition to the UFC would see him win 4 out of 5 with 3 Fight of the Night awards, while claiming victories over John Dodson, Jimmy Rivera, Aljamain Sterling, and Rafael Assunção. He would challenge Henry Cejudo for the vacant title in a losing effort, but there's no denying his place in the history of bantamweights. Number 5. Miguel Torres. Despite having the best mullet in MMA history, Torres was a pioneer for the lighter weight divisions, competing in many non-sanctioned events and unknown events, making the early days of his career hard to track. Torres would start his MMA career 20-0 before losing his first fight. He would win the bantamweight title in smaller promotions such as Ironheart Crown and Total Fight Challenge. Another 13 wins in a row would earn him a bantamweight title shot in the WEC, which he would win via first-round submission. 3 post-fight awards and 3 successful title defenses, including an epic clash with Takeya Mizugaki, would mark a run in which Torres would go 37-1 before he would start the decline of his career. With stops in the UFC, World Series of Fighting, and Titan FC before quietly calling it quits in 2016 after a record of 44-9. Number 4. Kioji Horiguchi. Horiguchi would start his career 9-1 before capturing the Shudo 135-pound title and defending it once before joining the UFC. He would win his first fight before dropping to flyweight. A failed bid at the 125-pound title would see him finish up his UFC contract before trying his luck elsewhere. He would win the Risen 135-pound Grand Prix, knocking out Ian McCall in 9 seconds and capturing the Risen 135-pound title to end 2018. He would then capture the Bellator 135-pound title, making him the first man to hold 2 titles in 2 major promotions at the same time. Number 3. Henro Barros. A career that started 0-1 would take a quick turn as the Baron would go on to win 28 straight fights, including 19 finishes, with wins over the likes of Chris Carriasso, Brad Pickett, and Scott Jorgensen, before getting the interim title fight against Uriah Faber. Barros would win the fight via decision to claim his first ever title in MMA. He would have finishes over Michael McDonald, Eddie Wineland, and Uriah Faber to finish his reign, before he would lose to TJ Dillashaw and never recover. Barros should be remembered by a title reign with 3 defenses, 32 straight wins, and 9 years between losses. Number 2. TJ Dillashaw. After a failed attempt to win The Ultimate Fighter, TJ Dillashaw would go on to win 5 out of 6 before injuries to key fighters led Dillashaw to facing then champion and winner of 30 straight, Henro Barros. In a fight no one expected that captured Fight of the Night and Upset of the Year, Dillashaw would run through Barros and finish him in the 5th to capture his first belt. 2 successful defenses and back-to-back Performance of the Night awards saw Dillashaw rolling until a Fight of the Night loss to returning Dominick Cruz halted his title reign. 2 wins over Assunção and Lineker saw Dillashaw get another crack at the belt against Cody Garbrandt, knocking Cody out and recapturing the belt and earning his 5th post-fight bonus in 7 fights. Of course, a failed attempt to become a champ against Henry Cejudo, a failed drug test, and a stripping of the belt have tarnished the reputation and memory of TJ's career. Number 1. Dominick Cruz. Cruz is noted for his unorthodox movement, powerful wrestling base, quick striking, and his tendency to attack from angles in a unique fashion. He won the WEC Bantamweight title in March 2010 and would defend it twice before going down as the final champion in WEC history. He also won the inaugural UFC Bantamweight Championship and would defend it twice against Uriah Faber and Mighty Mouse Johnson before relinquishing the belt due to injury. In what many sports writers call the greatest comeback in MMA history, Cruz would return to capture the belt he never lost, defeating TJ Dillashaw and defending the belt once more before losing the belt to Cody Garbrandt. He would have a failed title bid against Henry Cejudo, but there's no denying Cruz's place among the bantamweight best. Thank you for watching our top 10 bantamweights of all time. We'll be back next week with another top 10. And don't forget to like and subscribe.